Hey everyone, Scott here to discuss A Good Day to Die Hard, starring Bruce Willis, Jai Courtney, Sebastian Koch, Yulia Sneger, forgive me if I said that wrong, and same with the next name, Radi Vojbukvik, Cole Hauser, Amari Nalaska, Sergei Kolesnikov, and Mary Elizabeth Winstead, directed by John Moore. Welcome back, John Moore, after I reviewed your terrible Omen remake. So, and I have seen his movies before, and they're not that great usually, but and rumor has it that this might be the worst Die Hard film yet to date, but we'll see when we get in there. But before I get into this might be the last of the Die Hard films because Bruce Willis no longer able to speak as he can't act anymore. So poor guy. May his remaining life go fairly. So let's get into this review. In Moscow, Russia, a high-ranking but corrupt Russian officer named Viktor Chagrin plans on incriminating political prisoner, former billionaire and government whistleblower Yuri Komarov without a fair trial when Yuri refuses to hand over a secret file believed to have convincing evidence against Victor. Meanwhile, in a separate incident, Jack McClane, played by Jai Courtney, is arrested as a result as an assassination, but agrees to testify against Yuri for a shorter sentence. And can I just say, what a bullshit way to start a movie, even with a title like Die Hard, as we didn't start with John McClane last time, and now they're doing it again. So why are they doing this? It's a very bad sign. But John McClane, returned by Bruce Willis, learns for this final role as John McClane, learns of Jack's situation despite he hasn't been in touch with him for years, as he travels to Russia to help him out as his daughter and Jack's sister's Lucy takes John to the airport and tells him to bring him home, which he'll try throughout this whole movie, but in the unrated version, someone else drops him off at the airport, which seems pretty fucking stupid to me, as Mary Elizabeth Winstead won't show up in this unrated cut at all. And the difference between the theatrical and the unrated versions are very brief, which doesn't make me like the movie more than I do at this point. John gets to Moscow, Russia, and tries to speak Russian to a taxicab driver who ends up speaking English to go to the courthouse in Moscow, and John lets the driver sing and tells John to walk because of the traffic being terrible, and charges him nothing because he let him sing. And when John gets to the courthouse, people are protesting against Jerry as Jack is involved, and all of a sudden the courthouse blows up and kills everyone on the inside except for Jack and Yuri because they're in a glass room in the courtroom, and the sound design is very distracting, therefore it hurt my ears. And John encounters Jack and puts Yuri in the van after he tries to escape, which is a bad idea, and have a terrible action sequence. And the way the action sequences were shot was so fucking bad. Like, they were shaking the goddamn camera around, which bugs me half to death. While Jack and Yuri try to get away, John helps him out as he crashes and knocks out a tough Russian man and steals his car, while one car after another is destroyed by Jack and Yuri and getting us to a safe house versus the bad guys on Victor's henchmen who are trying to get Yuri out of Jack's hand and make a big fucking mess on the highway while Lucy calls in the theatrical cut John and asks about Jack in the theatrical cut. And I don't believe this she's in the unrated movie version in this movie is a giant absolute mess. Jack picks John up before he gets killed while having Yuri in the van, as Jack tells John off by saying how much of a screw up he is, as the plot is horrible, the acting is terrible, and the cinematography looked awful. And when they get to the safe house, John learns Jack is in the CIA, getting Yuri out of Russia forever, and Yuri wants to bring his daughter Irina with him, as John doesn't want to be involved in, which is something Jack says to the Russians, shooting Jack's boss dead. And John, Jack, and Yuri escape from the bad guys and led by someone, maybe Arena. I don't fucking know. And Jack destroys John's phone, and they go to a hotel to get Arena out of harm's way. And like last time, Bruce Willis doesn't want to have any fun like he did in the first three movies. They get to the hotel where Arena is at, and they don't enter from the front, but the ballroom, while Jack overhears John talking about his family, about family with Yuri, as he says he screwed his kids from their childhood. As he believes it's too late, and Jack and Yuri find a way in, but luckily John helps out as well as he gets them in, and they get Arena as John knows something is wrong, but unfortunately John and Jack get captured by the bad guys and their henchmen, and he dances, and John and Jack laugh at him while the bad guys take Yuri away from John and Jack. And this scene is stupid, as this is a stupid movie with a headache plot. John and Jack do escape without Yuri as John cuts their way out of it before they get killed and fight their way back. And the bad guys escape to blow up John and Jack on the inside as they jump out of the building and go through a construction site to keep themselves alive. And as the bad guys go on the phone with Victor, and John and Jack lick their wounds, and Jack says they have to go to Chernobyl to save Yuri, as this movie feels very toxic after the terrible Live Free or Die Hard. John and Jack steal a car by using keys to go to Chernobyl, as I'm reminded of the horror movie Chernobyl Diaries, which, like this movie, was absolutely terrible. And they make pretty bad jokes while on the way there, and the problem I'm having is there's no chemistry between Bruce Willis, who lost his sense of fun after Die Hard with a Vengeance, and Jai Courtney, who was a new actor at the time this movie came out. And the bad guys, led by Arena, along with Yuri, and are in Chernobyl, looking for something big from a file, as John and Jack happen to arrive as they're little and get set up to fight the bad guys who caused Chernobyl. And I can't believe this is what Die Hard has become at this point, because it's so bad in so many different fucking levels, which makes me sad. The bad guys drill a hole in a place as well as something in the wall, and they open a door to get in, and John and Jack happen to go where they're going to also look for the file and find Yuri, as he turns out to be the bad guy with Arena, which obviously makes sense, as I can sense that from the first frame of the movie, as he kills Victor's henchman and calls him Victor, calls Victor, and gets Victor killed. And this movie is so bad enough as it is. Meanwhile, John and Jack encounter Yuri as he acts all innocent, and they know he's bullshitting around, while a helicopter fires around the building as they'll get killed. And I wouldn't give a shit at this point, as this is the second Die Hard movie with the last one where I don't like John McClane, whoever he partners up with. And they have Yuri captured and calls Arena and the other henchmen to kill off John, Jack blow up part of Chernobyl, as the helicopter starts flying and Chernobyl blows all over the fucking place. And Jack going to a roof of the building they're at, while John somehow gets in the helicopter as they're about to fly away and almost killing Jack. John says the classic line, "Yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker," and pulls a truck out of the helicopter, and it pulls them down as Jack kills Yuri with the helicopter wings, and John swings to them and end up at the pool as Arena gets killed, and getting out of it alive drive home to little Lucy McQueen, returned briefly by Mary Elizabeth Winstead in the theatrical cut, as she wasn't in the entire unrated version. But where the fuck was Bonnie Bedelia, as this climax was one missed opportunity after another. Like, no cameo by Bonnie Bedelia and so many other things, as this movie is truly bad. But how bad is it? Let's talk about it in a rating. I'll give this movie a 1.6 out of 10. This is probably the worst Die Hard film yet today, from start, which was a bullshit way to open a Die Hard movie, all the way to the finish, which felt like a missed opportunity of a Bonnie Bedelia cameo, as they got the son and daughter in this one, whereas last time it was just the daughter, and the differences between the theatrical and unrated versions were very brief, like no Mary Elizabeth Winstead whatsoever, which doesn't make the movie any better in my opinion. And the sound design is very distracting, therefore it hurt my ears, and the action sequences were shot so bad as they were shaking the goddamn camera around, which bugs me to death. And this movie is filled with bad ideas in so many levels. The movie is a giant absolute mess, as the plot is horrible and the acting is terrible and the cinematography looked awful. And like last time, Bruce Willis doesn't want to have any fun with the character like he did in the first three movies. And this is a stupid movie with a headache plot, and this movie feels completely toxic after the terrible Live Free or Die Hard. I hate this movie with the fiery passion that consumes my soul, because this is the worst directed Die Hard movie yet to date, which makes this a strong non-recommendation for this movie, as all the scenes at the end of Chernobyl were uncomfortable and unnecessary, and I was getting vibes from that terrible horror film Chernobyl Diaries, and the climax felt like one missed opportunity after another. And at the end of the day, this movie sucks as badly as the last film. And this is one movie I can't recommend to anybody. I just can't do it. So I'd like to thank you guys for joining me for the Die Hard retrospective. And until whenever we get a reboot, yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker.